I first came across this technique of opening and closing speeches or presentations when I was watching an episode of Friends. In the show, one of the main characters, Joey, is reading out a children's book for a 1-year-old's birthday party. He starts it off with this.
A mother held her new baby and very slowly rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living. My baby, you'll be."
And he ends with saying the same thing.
I love you forever. I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living. My baby, you'll be.
This technique of ending and starting your speech in the same way is known as bookending. It's also known as the circle technique, where we start the speech, take the audience on a journey, and end it in the same place, forming sort of a circle effect. Now, we don't have to end and start our speech with the exact same words or phrases, but there needs to be a very strong shared component between the beginning and the ending. Professional world champion speakers like Mohammad Qahtani have used this as well, using props, where he started his speech with a cigarette and ended it with the same object. Even another world champion, Darren, did the same thing with a pair of underwear. We can also do this using quotes, like how one of my favorite TED Talks delivered by speaker Yubing Zhang did it in her speech. Somewhere in the introduction part of her speech, she read out the quote, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone," and she ended it with the same quote.
I see a huge quote printed on the glass window right next to me. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. As the word said, high on the bungee platform. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. Thank you.
This effect makes the speech seem more balanced, and as an audience, we love balance. Even if the similarity between the introduction and the closing was not required, it still makes the speech seem more interesting, impactful, and memorable. For us to do this, the technique is simple, but it takes a little practice to execute it correctly. When we start to write down a speech or a presentation, we need to begin writing with the end in mind. What is the final message we want to leave the audience with, and what is the final emotion we want them to take away? When we have both these things crystal clear, it's easier for us to start and end our speech in a more balanced manner. And we don't really need to worry too much about how do I begin and start in a similar manner from the beginning of writing our speech and preparing for it. In fact, once we have the main portion of our speech ready, bookending is a simple sprinkler we throw on top to make the speech sound better. In Mohammad Qahtani's championship speech, The Power of Words, he ends his speech with the main message, which is our words can either spit out venom and hurt somebody, or they can help mend a broken soul. After that, he takes out his prop, the cigarette, which he removed in the beginning, and crushes it in front of the audience. And if we think about it, the prop wasn't really required. The audience got the message that was intended, but the prop and the circle effect does add a sense of memorability and impactfulness to the speech. So we simply need to focus on writing down our speech, keeping the end and main message in mind, and then add bookending, whether it's with a prop, a quote, or a question after we're done. We've also written an entire article on how you can bookend your speech with different techniques, which I highly recommend you check out. Link in the description below. And if you want to know some other techniques that you can use to open your speech to grab their attention from the very beginning, or end your speech in a powerful, impactful manner, we've created videos on both these topics, which you can check out right here and here.